She didn't text back right away. She glanced down when you complimented her. She smiled, but quickly looked away. You probably thought, she's just being polite. She's not that into me. But what if I told you? That moment you caught her staring? That awkward laugh she gave at your joke. That's not disinterest. It's overthinking. It's her mind racing with, what does he think of me? Because when women fall deeper, they get quieter, more reserved, less obvious, and most men miss it completely. Did you? Or did you just think she was acting cold? Comment the last time you thought a woman was pulling away, but maybe she was falling deeper. Stay till the end. There's a twist that'll forever change how you read her quietness. You walk into the coffee shop. She's already there, sitting at the table, fingers lightly tugging at her necklace. Her phone's on the table, untouched. You say, hey. She looks up, half a second too late, and smiles. It's soft, but something about it feels ... unsure. She doesn't meet your eyes for long. Just a flicker, and then she looks away, back down to the cup in her hands like it's the most interesting thing in the world. You think, is she bored? Is this going badly? You try to keep the conversation going. You joke. She laughs, briefly, but then she goes quiet again, fidgeting, looking around. Not rude, not disinterested, but distant, like her mind's somewhere else. You start to doubt yourself. Maybe she's not into me. Maybe I'm misreading everything. But here's the truth. She's not ignoring you. She's overthinking every second. This isn't a girl pulling away. This is a girl who's falling deeper and terrified of showing it too soon. Because for women, silence isn't always distance. Sometimes it's vulnerability in disguise. Think about it. When she doesn't care, she's relaxed, loose, effortless. The jokes come easily. The words flow. She might tease you, flirt with you, throw in little hints. But when she starts to feel something real, that's when she gets quiet, careful, protective. She's suddenly hyper-aware of how she sounds, how she looks, how every sentence might be interpreted, not because she's playing games, but because, for the first time, what you think of her actually matters. And here's where most guys miss it. They take that quietness as a red flag. They assume it's disinterest. But what's really happening is that her heart's getting involved, and with it, all her walls start rising, not to push you away, but to see if you'll stay. Let me give you a real scene. You're walking with her after grabbing coffee. The street's quiet. There's a light breeze. You ask her something simple. What do you usually do on weekends? She answers, but her voice is soft. She trails off at the end. Then silence. Not awkward, just ... present. You look at her. She's smiling, barely, and looking forward, not at you. That's not rejection. That's her heart pacing ahead of her words. Because when a woman truly likes you, she starts saying less and feeling more ... So here's your move. Next time, she's quiet. Don't fill the silence with nervous jokes. Don't overcorrect. Just observe. Look at her body language. Is she leaning in just a bit? Is her foot pointed toward you? Is she fidgeting not to escape, but because she's unsure how to be still around you? Then lean in slightly. Not physically, emotionally. Be calm. Be warm. Let her see that her silence doesn't make you insecure. That alone will separate you from 90% of guys she's ever met, because you're not just listening to her words. You're reading the language most men never even notice, and that makes all the difference. There's this moment that every guy has felt, but most never fully understand. You're sitting across from her at dinner. The lights are low. The background noise hums softly, but between you two, there's this tension. She's looking at you, smiling politely, nodding along. But then suddenly, her eyes drift away. She zones out. Her fingers trace the rim of her glass, slow and absent-minded. Ask her something. She blinks, like she wasn't even in the room. Sorry, what did you say? And right there, the doubt creeps in. She's distracted. She's not into this. I've lost her. But here's what's really happening inside her mind. She's replaying your last sentence on loop. Word by word, tone by tone. She's wondering, did I laugh too much? Did I seem too eager? Was I too obvious? Did I just ruin everything? Because when women start catching feelings, their brain goes into overdrive. Every glance, every smirk, every pause between your words becomes a puzzle piece she's trying to solve. And the more she cares, the more intense the analysis gets. That silence you're hearing? It isn't boredom. It's her trying to decode everything you just said. While wondering if she's already exposed too much, she's not pulling away. She's spiraling inward. Think about it. When she's around guys she doesn't really like, she's probably playful, sarcastic, carefree. She'd throw jokes around, tease, maybe even flirt casually, because there's no risk there. No pressure. But when you've struck something deeper, everything changes. Her heart races. Her words slow down. Her smiles become softer, more uncertain. Because now, it matters, and she doesn't want to mess it up. Here's a little scene for you. You lean in across the table and tell her, you know, I actually like how quiet you are tonight. She freezes, looks at you wide-eyed for a second, before laughing nervously and glancing down. She stirs her drink, slightly flushed. That's not discomfort. That's her heart saying, oh God. You notice. Next time you see her drifting away mid-conversation, don't panic. Instead, pause. Lower your voice just a bit. Lean in slightly and calmly say, where'd you just go? Watch how she snaps back, eyes lighting up, a shy smile creeping in. You've just pulled her out of her own head and straight back into the moment with you. Most men miss this entirely, but not you, because you're the kind of guy who sees it. You ever notice how she sometimes shifts in her seat when you start speaking? Or how her hand lingers near her lips when you're explaining something, even if she's not aware of it? Most guys overlook these things. They focus on the obvious signs, text replies, direct compliments, bold words. But the truth is, women speak the loudest through their quietest moves. She won't say it, but her body does. Picture this. You're sitting together on a park bench. There's an easy quiet between you, but every few minutes, you catch her shifting her posture, subtly matching yours. You lean back, she leans back. You cross one leg. Moments later, so does she. Coincidence? Maybe you think she's just getting comfortable, but here's the deeper layer. Mirroring isn't random. It's instinctual. It's subconscious alignment. When a woman mirrors you, it's her body's way of saying, I feel connected here. I feel safe. Most men don't notice it. They're too caught up in what to say next. But you're not most men. You're watching her hands. You're watching her feet. You're noticing how her fingers lightly touch her collarbone when she's laughing. How her eyes flick down to your mouth when you speak. Little flashes that last only seconds, but reveal everything. Let's zoom into a scene. You're at a small get-together, surrounded by friends. She's seated across from you, casually sipping her drink. She's quiet tonight, but you catch her doing something peculiar. She tilts her head slightly when you're talking, exposing her neck, a sign of openness. Then, she lightly bites her lip during a pause in conversation, before quickly stopping herself, glancing away. You probably thought, she's just fidgeting. But what's really happening is this. She's drawn to you. Her body's responding in ways she can't fully control. The head tilt, the lip touch, the mirroring. It's all slipping through the cracks of her guarded words. And here's the beautiful part. The more subtle the signals, the deeper they tend to run. Loud, exaggerated gestures can be playful, sure, but these quiet ones? They usually mean she's falling deeper, slipping past her own defenses. Next time you spot this, her mirroring you, her fingers lingering near her lips, her body subtly angled toward you, don't rush it. Instead, gently mirror her back. If she leans in, lean in too, but just a little more than her. Hold that gaze for a beat longer than usual. Then, offer a knowing, quiet smile. Watch what happens. She'd notice. She'd feel that subtle dance of unspoken connection. And without even realizing it, she'd start to relax into you more. Because you're not chasing. You're not begging for her attention. You're simply reading her in the way most men can't. And in her world, that's magnetic. It always happens right after things feel like they're going perfectly. You're out together. The night feels electric. You've both been laughing, vibing, connecting in ways that feel almost unreal. She's smiling more. Her eyes linger longer. There's this effortless back and forth, like everything else in the world has melted away. Then, suddenly, something shifts. You notice it right after she checks her phone. Her energy changes. She pulls back, not physically, but emotionally. She goes quiet. Her replies become shorter. Her gaze drifts elsewhere. She looks distracted, distant. And instantly, your mind spirals. Did I say something wrong? Did I ruin it? You start analyzing everything you said in the last 15 minutes, trying to pinpoint where it all went off track. You think maybe she's regretting spending time with you. Maybe she's realizing she's not as into you as she thought. But here's the paradox most men don't realize. She's not pulling away because she's losing interest. She's pulling away because she's falling harder than she expected. Let me take you inside her mind for a second. In that moment, after an incredible night, she's feeling something terrifyingly rare, genuine emotional connection. And with that rush of vulnerability, her guard instinctively slams back up, because falling too fast feels dangerous. She's not asking herself, is he into me? Anymore. She's asking herself, am I getting in too deep? That sudden distance isn't rejection. It's protection. She's testing the waters of her own heart, seeing if she can afford to keep feeling this way, or if she needs to shield herself before it's too late. Picture this scene. You're sitting together in the back seat of an Uber. After a perfect evening, the city lights blur outside the window. She's quiet now, looking out, fingers playing with her bracelet. You want to say something, anything to pull her back, but inside her head, she's panicking. I like him. Too much. This is too fast. I need to pull back before I lose control. And here's where most men sabotage everything. They react to the shift. They start getting anxious, asking, hey, everything okay? They try to force closeness again, joking nervously, overcompensating with words and energy. And that just pushes her further away. But you're going to do something different. When you notice that shift, the sudden quiet, the subtle distance, you're going to stay calm. You're going to lean back, relax, and give her space without flinching. Because your stillness tells her everything. It tells her you're steady, that her emotions don't rattle you, that she doesn't need to explain herself or fake excitement to keep you interested. And slowly, she'll come back. Maybe not right away. Maybe not even tonight. But trust this, if she felt something real with you, she feels safe enough to return. That's the secret. Her emotional guard always rises before it falls. That it. And when she lets it down again, you'll be right there, unmoved, calm, and quietly magnetic. Because you're the guy who understands her storm and doesn't get caught in it. There's a moment most men never notice. But it's the exact moment everything changes. It happens quietly, casually, in the middle of a conversation that doesn't even seem that serious. She starts telling you something personal. Maybe it's about her family, or an old friendship that went wrong, or the time she got her heart broken so badly she still flinches thinking about it. At first, it comes out smoothly, like she's testing the waters. She watches your face as she speaks, gauging your every reaction. But then, something clicks inside her. She realizes she's gone too deep. Her words trail off mid-sentence. She suddenly laughs it off, shifts in her seat, glances away like she's just remembered something else she needs to focus on. She changes the subject, fast and sharp, and you're left there, wondering what just happened. Was she uncomfortable? Did I make her feel awkward? No. What you just witnessed wasn't discomfort. It was the most delicate moment of emotional vulnerability. Slamming shut. Because here's what most guys don't realize. Women rarely dive into deep emotions on impulse. When they do, it's not random. It's a test. A test of your steadiness. A test of your ability to handle the weight of their truth. In her mind, it's like this. If I show him this part of me, will he still see me the same, or will he pull away? That's why she backpedals the second she senses her guard slipping. Not because she regrets sharing, but because she's afraid you will. Let's zoom into the scene. You're sitting together on a rooftop, city lights glowing beneath you. She's talking about her past, about someone she trusted who let her down. Her voice softens. Her words slow down. And then she stops. She changes the subject to something safe, like her plans for the weekend or a funny meme she saw earlier. She's smiling, but it's forced tight around the edges. You feel the shift. Here's what you do. Nothing. You don't press her to go back to it. You don't probe. You don't act like it was a dramatic confession. Instead, you simply say, with calm certainty, "Thanks for sharing that with me." Then, you leave it there. That one sentence tells her everything. It tells her you're safe, that you can handle her truth without judging her or needing to fix it. And when she feels that, she'll come back to it on her own terms, maybe later that night, maybe next week. But she'll remember that moment forever, because you didn't flinch. You didn't chase the vulnerability. You simply held space for it. And in her world, that's rarer than you realize. There's a specific kind of woman most men never recognize. The quiet investor. She won't flood your phone with texts. She won't gush about her feelings or make bold declarations. She won't confess late at night after 2 glasses of wine. But she's investing deeply, quietly. And the guys who understand this, they spot it before anyone else. Here's how it plays out. You're talking about your plans for the week. She listens closely, nodding here and there, not saying much. But a few days later, out of nowhere, she asks you how that thing went. That small, insignificant event you barely remembered mentioning. She remembered. Not only that, she cared. And that's your first sign. When a woman is falling deeper, her mind becomes a vault for details about you. The little things others ignore, she stores them like treasures. Not because she's trying to win points, but because you matter enough for her to remember. Now here's where it gets even more subtle. She'll start to make plans with you, not just for the weekend, but weeks ahead. Hey, there's this event next month. You'd probably like it. Or, we should try that new place sometime. It's casual on the surface, just words. But underneath, that's her way of weaving you into her future, testing how it feels to imagine you there. She doesn't say, "I want you." She shows it through loyalty, consistency, and quiet effort. Let's drop into a scene. It's raining outside. You're both sitting on your couch, just hanging out. You casually mention that you've been craving a specific dish from that place across town, but you haven't had time to go. A week later, she shows up with it. No announcement. No fanfare. Just a soft smile and a simple, "Thought you might want this." You probably thought, she's just being thoughtful. But here's the deeper truth. It wasn't just a favor. That was her attaching herself to you. In the most low-key, non-threatening way. She knows how dot women don't always verbalize emotional investment. They act it out in ways that feel easy to dismiss if you're not paying attention. Here's what you do. Every time she makes these subtle efforts, remembers details, plans ahead, brings small gifts, don't just brush it off. Acknowledge it. Smile, meet her eyes, and say something simple but powerful. I notice these things. You know? That one sentence will hit deeper than any compliment, because it tells her you see her quiet loyalty. You appreciate the way she invests without words. And that makes her feel safe to invest. Even more. Now you flip the game. You're no longer chasing her attention. She's quietly proving her value to you. There's a shift that happens. Right when you stop chasing her reactions and start leading with calm certainty, suddenly she stops testing, stops pulling away, stops hiding behind those quiet walls. Because here's the secret most men never realize. Women aren't waiting for the perfect line or the smoothest move. They're waiting for relief. Relief from the overthinking. Relief from the need to analyze every word and every glance. Relief from wondering if they're safe showing their truest self. And you can become that relief. You can flip the entire dynamic. Let me show you how. It starts in a moment that feels completely unremarkable. You're both sitting on a blanket in the park, watching the sunset dip behind the trees. She's quiet, but this time, it doesn't feel guarded. She's present, comfortable in the silence. There's no rush to fill it. She leans her head on your shoulder, and you feel it. Her walls are gone. But here's the thing. That moment didn't happen by accident. It happened because of something you did earlier. Something subtle. Earlier that day, maybe during your walk, you shared something about yourself. Not some dramatic, overshared sob story. Not some forced attempt at deep vulnerability. Just something real. Maybe you told her about a time you failed. A childhood insecurity. A lesson you had to learn the hard way. You shared it calmly, without self-pity, without theatrics. You owned it. And in that moment, she felt it. She saw a man who wasn't afraid of his own truth. And subconsciously, her mind whispered, if he can handle his own darkness, maybe he can handle mine too. That's when she starts to relax. That's when the shift begins. She no longer feels the need to impress you or keep up a facade. She stops measuring her words, stops analyzing every glance, stops performing. Because now, she feels safe. Here's what most guys get wrong. They think being her safe space means being endlessly agreeable, always soft, always catering to her emotions. But in reality, it's about being steady. It's about showing her, through your own self-acceptance, that nothing she says or feels can shake you. She leans into you, not because you chased her walls down, but because you never needed them to fall in the first place. Let's drop into another scene. You're driving together. At night. Music low, windows cracked. She suddenly says, out of nowhere, I don't really talk about this with anyone, but... And right there, you don't interrupt. You don't make it about you. You just listen. Fully. No judgment. No advice. No nervous jokes. You just let her be. That's the moment she feels it. The rarest feeling in her world. Safety. And from that moment on, the entire game changes. Because now she's not falling in fear. She's falling freely. And it's all because of you. There's something about silence that makes most men uncomfortable. It feels like rejection. Like distance. Like something slipping through your fingers that you can't quite grab hold of. But here's the truth most guys never realize. Her quietness? It's not a problem. It's your greatest advantage. Because the quieter she becomes around you, the deeper she's feeling. Let me explain. You're sitting across from her. Maybe it's after a long night out. The room is dim, soft shadows dancing on her face. She's not saying much, just watching you, a small, almost secretive smile playing. On her lips, it's quiet, but inside that quiet, everything is happening. Her heart is racing. Her thoughts are swirling. She's not speaking because, in this moment, she doesn't want to ruin it. She's savoring the feeling of simply being near you. And here's the magic. When you stop fearing her quietness, when you stop trying to fill the space, you unlock a completely different level of connection. Because you're showing her that you're comfortable with her truth. You're not chasing words. You're not forcing moments. You're simply there. Still, calm, steady. Most men would panic in this space. They'd start making nervous jokes. They'd ask questions just to break the silence. They'd try to reignite the spark with energy and noise. But not you, because now you understand something most men never do. Her quiet isn't rejection, it's anticipation, It's her waiting to see if you'll get nervous, if you'll start reaching, if you'll crack under the pressure of stillness, and when you don't, when you just sit there, smiling softly, relaxed at ease, that's when she falls even deeper, because you've shown her that you're not afraid of her emotions or your own. You've shown her that you're the kind of man who can handle both. Let's close with a scene. You're sitting together at the end of the night. No words, just soft glances, shared presence. She looks at you, then looks down, her smile lingering. You lean back slightly. You hold her gaze for just a second longer. And then, you say nothing. You let the silence wrap around you, both like a secret. And in that moment, you become unforgettable. Because you're not chasing her words, you're drawing her in. Without even trying, So the next time she goes quiet around you, smile, say nothing. Let her feel the weight of that silence and watch how she leans in. Because now, you know the truth. Her quiet isn't distance, it's desire. And you're the kind of man who knows exactly what to do with it. Before you go, let's pause for a second, because chances are you've already seen these signs before. Maybe you just didn't know what they meant at the time. But now, you do. So here's your quiet checklist. The sign she's falling deeper without ever saying a word. She gets quiet after deep conversations. Not because she's pulling away, but because her emotions are catching up faster than her words. She mirrors your gestures unconsciously, leaning in when you lean in, matching your posture without even realizing it. She remembers random, tiny details about you. The song you mentioned once, that dish you love, the story you told weeks ago. She laughs, then quickly looks away, suddenly self-conscious, because her feelings are showing more than she intended. She seems nervous around you, especially after things have been going well. Pulling back not because she's losing interest, but because she's afraid of how much she likes you. And finally, she makes consistent, subtle efforts without words. Little favors, quiet plans, thoughtful gestures that weave you deeper into her life, piece by piece. These are the signs most guys miss. But you won't anymore, because now you see the language beneath her silence. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you caught even one of these signs in someone you know, or if this video just flipped a switch in your mind, do this. Rewatch it. Replay it with her in mind, because sometimes, the second time through, you realize just how obvious she was being. And if this reminded you of someone specific, well, maybe that silence wasn't so empty after all.